Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, stunning morning, magnificent morning. Oh my God, I love going through that at the beginning of every single one of these calls. Having that reminder that I get to choose, you get to choose, we all get to choose, we always have a choice. And what is that choice? It's the choice to choose our thoughts, to choose what things mean. Remember, everything is fundamentally meaningless. Everything just is. Nothing is good or bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. Now, I know I might sound like a broken record, but you got to remember, I'm doing this on purpose. And also, as well, it's something that something that I've created in myself so that it is a thought process in me. But with that being said, the intention here is to convey that to you so that you get it too. Remember, it's through repetition that the analysis happens, that the movement of the information happens. And through that movement, if it happens again and again and again, it eventually becomes a truth. And by the way, that's something really important to pay attention to because it can be that way either good or bad, meaning negatively or positively. But with that being said, we're not here for the negative side. We're here to wake you up and help you to see the magnificence in you, to see that you are a magnificent creative being. Write that in your notes again. I am a magnificent creative being. See, you've been given this gift to choose your thoughts, to shape and mold the clay, which is the thinking substance that permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. See, that at its core is how you get onto a frequency. And remember that frequency, vibration, because that's what that is, that's the attractive force in your life. When you are in control of your feelings, and don't think that you aren't or that you can't be. You can. You know why? Because you can think whatever you want. And it's the thought that leads to the feelings. With that being said, when you are able to control the feelings that are there to be able to, say, see you later if it's negative and actually invite into and onto your stage the positive ones, see, that's when you control your life. That's when you're no longer a victim of circumstance. And guess what happens when you're no longer a victim of circumstance? Oh my gosh, you are free. You skyrocket. And that's what we're hoping that you get through these calls. We're hoping that you engage with it. In other words, use what we're sharing with you. Because that's the only way it's going to serve you. It's not going to serve you if you memorize it. It's not going to serve you if you know it. No, it's not about knowing, it's about understanding. See, with that, when you understand, that's when big intentional change can happen. And that's a wonderful way to live. Now, what we've been studying here is the master key system. Hasn't this been a wonderful experience? Well, if you don't have a copy of this, make sure you do get a copy of it. And if you do have a copy of it, when you have a copy of it, make sure that you highlight a lot of it and write all over it, take notes. When you write, when you take notes, it causes you to think more. That's a beautiful truth that I learned from Bob Proctor. Writing causes you to think. It is very little for you to just sit there passively and, for instance, obtain this information. But if you are moving around by writing and taking notes, underlining, see, you're helping to embed it in you subconsciously, which will make it a lot easier for you to remember and also a lot easier for you to use it. So make sure you're doing that, okay? Now, here we go. Make sure you have your goal card with you. This is an important tool, but then again, it's only important if you make it important. This goal should be something that you're emotionally involved with. And as you have this goal card with you, you have the book with you, start writing. All right? Ready to go? Let's do this. Ooh, boom. All right. So we went over this before in the last session, but we're going to go over it again. This is on page 256 in this beautiful gem. That we reap what we sow is mathematically exact. Now, what is reaping and sowing again? It's cause and effect. In terms of the reaping, look at the reaping as outcomes, as feedback. Remember when I shared that with you about your results? You should look at them as feedback. Don't make it personal. Same way with your feelings. Your feelings are an effect that turn into a cause. You should look at your feelings as feedback. See, that's the reaping. Now, if you don't like what's being reaped, you can change it. And that's what's being shared here within all of this beautiful information. Write this in your notes. I reap what I sow. I reap what I sow. Every one of you, including me, all of us, are reaping what has been sown, positive or negative. The patterns that we have inside of us, which are called habits, I got news for you. When they are habits, that's what we're reaping, which leads to something else. Remember, your life is a line of causation. Cause leads to effect. Effect turns into a cause, leads to an effect, turns into a cause, leads to an effect, turns into a cause, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Now, some people would see that as, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But actually, it's a wonderful, beautiful gift that's been given to you. See, when you understand that, and also when you understand that you can choose your thoughts, which means you can change what's being sown, you can pivot, adjust consciously. You can actually change the trajectory of your life in a big, beautiful way. But that requires you to think. That's your reasoning faculty. Remember, you have six of them: imagination, perception, reason, will, memory, intuition. Reason, that's your ability to think, to move information around, to evaluate, of which those evaluations form your beliefs. See, that's what determines the outcomes. You want to be rich? Guess what you've got to do on the inside? You've got to consent to and build the idea of you already being rich. Not that you're going to be. That's a big mistake. Remember, I will be is a confession that I am not. Write that in your notes. Type that in the comments. I will be is a confession that I am not. When you say I will be, that's what you're sowing. Guess what? You're always going to be. You're in want. And that is an emotional idea that you're connected with. Think of the term or the phrase, I should say, I want this. See, the image is, it's away from you. I want it. I want it. I want it. And a lot of us say, I want it. And even in the personal development world, it says, you got to want it bad. No. Big mistake. When you are in want, that's what you're sowing, the image of you being in want. And guess what? Your subconscious mind enforces. It enforces the want. Therefore, the effect will be you want it next month. You're still going to want it 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, all because of that unintentional way of thinking that you unknowingly planted in you. Maybe that's the case for you right now. Maybe you're at 10 years and you still want it. It's not happening. Oh, well, there's the answer. There's the reason why. You got to shift it. You've got to start thinking from how Neville Goddard has beautifully and eloquently spoke of. You got to think from the end. Don't think of something, think from it. When you think from it, you're in it. It's happening now. Think from the end. See, that's a wonderful way and a beautiful way to what we call manifest your outcomes rather quickly. And also remember, you don't need to know the how. The how will show up. You'll find that to be true if you look back on the things that you have accomplished that felt effortless. Oh my gosh, how did you do it? You were emotionally involved with the idea. You were living it in your imagination. You believed. It is done unto you as you believe. See, that's the sowing. And you can sow whatever you want. You can imagine whatever you want. It's your imagination. Did you catch that? And when it comes to that sowing, what happens in mind, remember, everything starts in the mind. That's what externalizes into the material world. Remember, the material world, everything that you are experiencing here on earth, that you're seeing, that's all a fact. The world we live in is not a material world. It's not a physical world, even though you can touch things and move them around. No, the real world we live in is an imaginal world. It's a thought evolved world. And in terms of that, it ties beautifully into what's being said here in this first sentence about sowing and reaping, that it's mathematically exact. So that we reap what we sow is mathematically exact. We gain permanent strength exactly to the extent of the effort required to overcome difficulties. So, in other words, the changes on the outside will always be in exact proportion to the level of awareness that you have. And that level of awareness is what you understand. It's the process of thinking that's in you subconsciously. And in terms of the change that you deliver, if you put in good, beautiful, massive effort, when I'm talking about effort, I'm talking about a change in the way of how you think, your outer results will always change in an exact proportion to whatever that was inside of you. And it works for everything. You have that power. All right, now I'm going to make a little statement here because there are people watching this stream and we're going to be cutting off the stream externally. And if you love what you're hearing right now, then join us here in Master Your Mind.